very rude elevator screamers are paid professionals.
Hashtag troublemakers. Don't forget the best part.
Hashtag troublemakers.
Let's talk about some troublemakers, shall we? And who better to start with than the greatest troublemaker of all, Martin Luther King. While Dr. King is praised today by the majority of Americans post-civil rights era, many of those who now support him seek to downplay or ignore entirely his radicalism, truth-telling, and criticism of white supremacy and white privilege.
No other ethnic group has been a slave on American soil. And when white Americans tell the Negro to lift himself by his own bootstraps, they don't look over the legacy of slavery and segregation.
That is because at the time, he was widely hated, and often hated precisely for those radical views. He was considered one of the nation's greatest threats by the FBI, and of course, was called the troublemaker. To which then civil rights activist and current representative John Lewis coined the perfect response when he said,
"To get in the way, or get in trouble. Good trouble, necessary trouble."
Because without this troublemaker, where would this country be? What about Rosa Parks, another troublemaker who decided to upend the status quo, making trouble, good trouble? What about Susan B. Anthony?
Her career of her dedication to women's rights, she was much despised.
A former teacher who would become president of the National American Suffrage Association after she was denied speaking rights at a rally because she was a woman. She made a lot of trouble by ignoring threats and abuse to travel, lecture, and canvass across the nation for the vote. Also advocating to abolish slavery and the right for women to own their own property and retain their earnings. What about Tarana Burke? There's another troublemaker. The founder of the Me Too movement, whose remarkable bravery has paved the way for millions to follow, speaking out and seeking to hold sexual assault perpetrators accountable. I'm sure she's been called a troublemaker in those deep echo chambers where the guys are convinced that they are the real victim. You know, despite the fact that the rate of false rape allegations is actually closer to 0.05%, meanwhile 1 out of every 6 women has been the victim of an attempted or completed rape in America. But yeah, I mean, men are the real victims, right? What about Anita Hill, deemed a troublemaker when she spoke out about the ongoing sexual assault she faced from Clarence Thomas, a man who still, to this day, serves on the Supreme Court. Colin Kaepernick, a man who sacrificed his career to give a voice to the voiceless, drawing the eyes of the world, willingly or not, to the issue of police brutality.
Cops are getting paid leave for killing people.
Called a disrespectful troublemaker. The list goes on and on and on. Alyssa Milano is a troublemaker. Kamala Harris is a troublemaker. Elizabeth Warren is a troublemaker. Bernie Sanders is a troublemaker. Troublemakers are always at the forefront of social change because they are the ones challenging the existing social order and advocating for the powerless against the powerful. Today, whether it's a woman in an elevator demanding a senator acknowledge their lived experiences, or a man taking a knee to silently give a voice to victims of police violence, troublemakers are necessary for change. Because nothing great ever came from someone saying, well, that's just how it is. I want to be a troublemaker. Do you? To continue this conversation, come over to my Instagram, Francis M. Maxwell. You can become a TYT member at tytnetwork.com/join. Never missed another breakdown video by ringing the bell below. You'll get notified whenever we publish something new. And don't forget to join TYT today. Download our TYT Plus app on your phone or head over to tyt.com/join.